In the shadowy hills of West Virginia, where dense forests and forgotten roads weave through the quiet town of Point Pleasant, a legend was born one chilly November night in 1966. It's a tale that still lingers in hushed conversations and creaking porches. A tale of the Mothman, a creature whose haunting presence left a trail of fear and tragedy in its wake. It began on an unworkable evening when two young couples drove out to the abandoned TNT factory on the outskirts of town. The old facility, a relic of World War II, was a place where local teens went to hang out and scare each other with ghost stories. But what they encountered that night was something none of them could have imagined. As they cruised down the dark, isolated road, the headlights of their car caught something strange near the factory, a pair of red eyes glowing in the darkness. They slowed the car, squinting to get a better look. There, standing on the edge of the road, was a figure unlike anything they had ever seen. It was tall, nearly 7 feet, with broad, leathery wings folded against its back. Its body was human-like but distorted, and those eyes, they were unnaturally large and burned with an eerie red light. The creature's head had no discernible neck, and as it unfurled its wings, they stretched wider than the car itself. In a flash, it took off into the air with a whoosh of wings, hovering above the road like a dark specter. The couple screamed, hitting the gas, desperate to leave the area. But the creature followed, gliding effortlessly above them, keeping pace no matter how fast they drove. It didn't flap its wings, but drifted silently, its eyes fixed on the terrified passengers. Finally, as they neared the town's edge, the creature veered off into the woods, disappearing into the night. Shaking and pale, the group rushed to the police station, stumbling over their words as they described what they had seen. The officers were skeptical but agreed to investigate. When they arrived at the site, they found nothing but the echoes of the night and the lingering sense of something watching from the shadows. Over the following days and weeks, more sightings poured in. Dozens of people claimed to have seen the Mothman, always near the old TNT factory or the dark woods that surrounded it. Some described the creature as more bird than man, while others insisted it had an almost mechanical, otherworldly presence. But the one detail that remained constant was the glowing red eyes that seemed to burn with an unnatural intelligence. As the sightings increased, strange things began happening around town. Pets went missing, radios crackled with bursts of static and garbled voices, and people reported unsettling nightmares of disaster and ruin. There was an air of dread hanging over Point Pleasant, and whispers of the Mothman being a harbinger of doom grew louder. The fear and tension reached their peak on December 15th, 1967. On that cold winter day, the Silver Bridge, which connected Point Pleasant to Ohio, was packed with evening traffic. Without warning, the bridge shuddered and let out a groan like a dying beast. Then, in a catastrophic collapse, the entire structure gave way, plunging cars and passengers into the icy river below. 46 lives were lost in the disaster, a tragedy that left the town reeling. In the aftermath, rumors spread that the Mothman had been seen near the bridge. Days before it fell, its crimson eyes glowing ominously from the shadows. Many began to believe the creature wasn't just a random cryptid, but a warning, a messenger of impending disaster. After the collapse, the sightings abruptly stopped, as if the creature had fulfilled its grim purpose. To this day, the Mothman remains an enigma. Was it a creature from another dimension? A spirit of misfortune? Or simply a mass hysteria fueled by fear and anxiety? The answers are lost to time, buried in the whispers of the past. But every year, visitors flock to Point Pleasant, drawn by the eerie allure of the legend. They explore the old TNT site and walk the wooded trails, hoping for a glimpse of those burning red eyes. And on foggy nights, when the moon is just a sliver and the trees rustle with unseen movement, Some locals swear they can still hear the faint rustle of wings overhead, a reminder that the Mothman might still be watching from the shadows.